Not sure. Not sure if this is our fourth or fifth talk on the subject, but it it in way doesn't matter. It's the fourth step is the move into the fourth phase of consciousness, and the fourth phase of consciousness is what contains the space, we could say, that there is only one dimension, and that one dimension is inside and outside. So for those of you here who are practicing Sikhs, and then anyone else who happens to wear a bangle, if you can take it off for a moment and hold it out in front of you, what you'll see is a circle with space within it. You can see through it to a backdrop beyond it, but you're very much aware that there's a space inside it. And it's a more or less flat space. And outside of it, if you're holding it so that you're looking perpendicular to it, then the space outside is more or less flat, but you're aware that it's three-dimensional space. Now, I want you to close your eyes for a moment and consciously move that bangle, that kata or bangle, move it to your left, say about two katas, two circles worth. Move it to your left while your eyes are closed. And now I want you to open your eyes again. And you'll be aware that you're looking at something different compared to the background. The circle is circling something different on the background. But you're aware that the background is separate from the kata. The kata is a plane of view through which you're looking at the background. Now, the question is the space that's now inside the kata or the bangle, is the space inside that circle the same space that was inside it when it was in its original position, two circles to the right? So I want you to look at it and move it two circles to the right while you're looking at it. Is the space defined by the circle the same space that was defined by the circle before? Or are you now defining or encircling a different space? This is the nature of space itself. It's everywhere. It permeates everything. And what we call the ether or the luminiferous quintessence, this fifth element of space, is what bears light. Luminiferous means light bearing. It's also called the liminal space, the space between spaces, because it permeates everything. This has been a major question for physics for millennia, but particularly in the last few hundred years. But we've lost the understanding of what light bearing means. And so science's attempt to prove the existence of ether and thought in an experiment about 150 years ago that they proved that light bearing ether does not exist. But that's because they have lost the meaning. Philosophy and science have parted ways. There was once a time where religion was the place that art and science met. And about 1,000 years ago, they they started to diverge. And at the same point, mathematics was the queen of the sciences.
Mhm.
And the king of the sciences was numbers themselves.
Mhm.
Numbers are the language of God. 500 years ago, those two things, religion and science and art, all parted ways into being three separate subjects when
Mhm.
once they were one. And we could call it philosophy because it was the love of knowledge. Now, I bring this
Okay.
up for us to understand the nature of ether or space,
Mhm.
that we relate the element of space with the sensation or the sense of sound, the fifth sensation. So we have the sensation of sight, which predominantly governs our perception.
Mhm.
But the first element is the element of smell,
Okay.
that we this relates to the first chakra. Why? Because the first chakra exists in that realm. It's as close as possible to the 0 point field as an individuating being can experience. So
Mhm.
smell is 360 degrees in all directions. So it's we can smell, and even at quite a distance.
Yes.
And what do we pair that up? Because we are 10-dimensional beings, we have 10 gross senses and 10 subtle senses. So the marriage or the mirror image that smell is a mirror to instinct. And what is it? Instinct. Something stinks. The smell of death. So, in
Oh,
order to survive, we have this sensation which is like the smell of death. When we are in a situation where we think somebody's lying to us or we're walking into danger, what do we say? Something smells fishy.
yes. Yes.
And fish are the quickest animals to start to give off that smell of death. That's why we have to keep them on ice. And 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 other carcasses, other animals, they have that smell, but it doesn't come on nearly as quickly, and it abates. We can hang meat for days, weeks, or months. In fact, it's actually considered a good practice to hang meat, to let it to let it rest before it's consumed. So it doesn't give
Mhm.
off this same rotting smell that vegetables eventually give off, but that takes weeks sometimes to give off. But fish, the next day, even the same day, if it's not kept cool, will start to give off that smell. The sec
Yes.
the second sense, and that's because the sense of smell is located in the brain stem before the bifurcation of the brain, before the brain divides into two hemispheres. The
Mhm.
sense of smell is embedded just below the branching out into two hemispheres. So it's this primal instinct that connects us to the field itself, to to the element of life itself, because ultimately we are just pieces of life.
Okay.
So the second element, so just going into this differentiation, so we
Mhm.
understand the process we're working with. The second smell is a sense of taste. Now, 70 to 90% of of the sense of taste is actually information gleaned from the olfactory nerve, what
Mm-hmm.
something smells like. We have five tastes in the tongue,
Oh.
but of sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and pungent.
Mm.
Pungent is a taste sensation that is that is widely disregarded in the West, but it's crucial to Eastern cooking, Indian and Asian cooking. That pungent taste is what we get often pickling from
Mm.
pickling a
Yeah,
fruit. Yes, so we have
that's right.
so the tongue has all five of the senses, but they're inside. It's through the mouth that we take an object outside and bring it inside. So that there's these it's like we have five mini senses in the second sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one dimension. It's inside and outside. So the bringing of things from the outside to the inside happen through electromagnetic frequencies that are sent from the sense organs to the brain.
Okay.
Primarily, it's touch, hearing,
Mm-hmm.
and sight.
That's right.
Peculiar sensation of the taste is when we're actually physically bringing a thing, an object, inside of us. Right, so we say something so close to us, that we desire. We desire something. You can't desire something you haven't experienced.
That's right. Yeah.
It's impossible to desire something you haven't experienced. So desires are all in the past, and when we really long for something and it think and we think it's possible, we say it's so close I can taste it.
Yeah.
So yes, we've been working on a project. The book's almost finished. Somebody says, how's your book going? Oh, it's the finish is so close I can taste it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So the 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 mirror image, that's actually a mirror image to a metaphysical sensation, a subtle sensation. The gross taste we can call subtle impulse, when we have a strong desire to do something. It's like a child looking at the cake sitting on the plate and being
Mm-hmm.
told you can have it now, or if you wait 5 minutes you can have two pieces of cake. And that marks a development consciousness when it realizes, oh, if I wait, if I delay my gratification into a
Mm-hmm.
belated reward, I'll get more. And this is the nature of the human being. It would seem that most animals don't have the same quality, except perhaps most notably the spider. The spider wraps its
Pray.
chrysalis, a cocoon, and consumes it later, right? And this has
Oh.
a important aspect to our conversation, because this quality of the chrysalis is important to our conversation. That the spider cocoons this thing, which decays inside of the chrysalis, the cocoon. Most of the animals are insects. And so, by this decaying process, the spider can suck out the insect, its prey, in liquid form.
Okay.
And this is the nature of a chrysalis as well. The butterfly, the caterpillar, creates a cocoon, wraps itself in this cocoon, and then literally liquefies. It becomes completely formless And somehow out of that liquid, that formless state, the information inside the caterpillar remains, and it transforms into information that gives the butterfly, butterfly liquid, this knowledge to transform, to take shape into a butterfly. Is that making sense so far?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Right. So the same quality is with this second sense of taste, that when we bring something inside of us, we have a sensation of it can transform us. And of course, the second chakra, which is related to the sense of smell, is the creative chakra. It relates to the genitals and the adrenals and the kidneys, energy to transmute, to become something else. And some animals have both of these. Some trees have both the masculine and the feminine in them. But this, again, this movement from the first chakra to the second chakra is movement into duality. So most life forms replicate by differentiating between the masculine and the feminine, the male and the female, and the two have to come back together to combine in order to create a continuation of the species. So this impulse that we think of as a subtle sense is the longing to belong, the urge to merge,
Wow.
for two to become one. And we do this by bringing something inside of ourselves. Now, one is we sustain ourselves so that we can be here long enough to transform by eating. And what happens? We transform that food into a body. This is important for every, and particularly it's covered somewhat in feng shui, but deeply covered in Stapacha Veda, the Indian version of this numerological science. That that when you bring something into you, a mango, a piece of an animal, a piece of broccoli, tomorrow that thing becomes your body. And what you didn't use
Yes.
in it to become your body, we defecate as waste. It goes back to earth, the first element. So this
Yes.
second chakra is relating to transformation of what we can use and what we don't use, what we keep and what we cast away.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that quality is then moving on to the third chakra. So this impulse, as I said, this impulse, we have an impulse to eat, you know?
Yeah.
But when we smell death, we have an impulse to vomit, to purge. If we eat something that has a bad taste or bad smell, we actually gag and throw it up. So this
Yes.
impulse is this urge to merge, urge to consume of something that will sustain us or get rid of something that will possibly harm us. I hope that's easy to follow. So then we're moving
Yes.
to the third chakra, the sense of sight. Now, the sense of sight, this is the connected to the navis and very close to the solar plexus. The solar plexus
Yes.
is just slightly above the navis. Yes. So
Yeah.
the navis, the solar plexus, is where the the fractal energy of the one communicates. And it communicates literally through the navis when we're inside the womb. And then we come out, it stops the connection, but the energetic connection is still there.
Okay.
through the solar plexus, right?
Uh-huh.
So this element of sight has a subtle mirror to it. It's better to say we tend to think of the subtle as a mirror to the gross, but it's the other way around, that the gross are physical manifestations of the metaphysical reality. So the subtle sense is the sense of imagination.
Mm.
I,
Okay.
magi, nation. This is what the human being is. The human being is I, magi, nation. Magi are the the three magi that discovered the Christ child, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right? The three magi are the three sense vibrations through which we take in information from the field, and the child is the intuition, the ever present intuition that is invisible, inaudible, and intangible,
Mm-hmm.
but is recognized and comes forth through the visual, the audible, and the tangible, what we can see, hear, and feel. Is that making sense? Is that following
Yes.
through?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
So understanding that those three dimensions that we perceive reality through are actually frequencies. The frequency of the electromagnetic frequency of sight, that what we see, light comes into our eyes, hits the optic nerve, it's turned into electromagnetic frequency. What comes in through the ears, slightly longer wavelength, is the electrochemical frequencies. These are what we call the emotions, the chemical cascade that connects the mind to the body and interprets our experience. It's a human addition that we put on top of physical sensations. And then, of course, the third is the tangible, the electromechanical
Mm-hmm.
frequencies, which are the longest of all, right? So, what's
Okay.
happening when we look out into the world, into the field, it's all one. And the mind, through the brain, the organ of the brain, is literally lifting something off the field, taking it inside, contemplating it. Does it look like something we know from a past experience? And once we can identify that, we can say we have a desire, the desire to possess it, or the desire to purge it, to move away from it, or move it away from us. Is that following through?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. So this imagination, we can also say that there's separation between the three magi,
Mm-hmm.
the three kings, and
Yeah.
and the queen mother, right? The three magi are three vessels. They're kings, but vessel queen, which is like the empress. And the
Mm-hmm.
queen is perception, pure, unadulterated nothingness, awareness without any object to be aware of. Pure
Wow.
awareness. This is the shapeless, formless nothing. I hope that's making some sense.
Wow. Yes.
This is like the liquid inside the chrysalis. So for the
Mm.
caterpillar to become a butterfly, it has to return to this state of formless awareness where the information can reshape it, transform it into its new being, the the butterfly that flutters by.
Okay.
This is what the human being is like. When Jesus said, to be born again, one must have to die first. Guru Nanak said, of course, we all want to go to heaven, but why wait till you die?
Okay.
And some
Wow.
people talk of this as the ego death. But I want to make an important point. It's a subtle one, but important, that this ego death, this is BS, bullshit belief system. It's the
Mm-hmm.
opinion of dead people. It's the
Yes.
opinion of dead people not expressed by their teachers, the ones at the center, the
Mm.
ones who were the flame carriers or the flames themselves, because you have to get through a lot of moths to get to the flame. And moths are not butterflies. You know, we
No.
have to recognize, if we want to transform into this full spectrum being that we are as human beings, we
Yeah.
have to not kill the ego, but bring the ego back to its true nature. So if you carve three letters, G, O,
Mm-hmm.
and D, out of stone or
Mm-hmm.
rock, and you stack them all together above each other. So the top letter is G, the middle letter is O, and the bottom letter is G. Generating, organizing, and delivering principles. God. These three principles are responsible for all creation. It's the act of creation, which is the mother, but compartmentalized into rational form. It's logical. You could say the mother is the tree, the root, the trunk, the branches, the leaves, the blossoms, and the fruits. She's the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
rooted into the ground and blossoming into the air. It's the soul and the spirit together. But when divided, we cut the tree into logs. LOG, logical. Logical
Wow.
thinking is the desire to separate things into compartmentalized sections, where the
Mm-hmm.
magical, the mother, the magical, okay, the sound is ma, magic, but we write it mo, mother, magical. Yes, magical and logical. We have to return to the magical state, the mother, the queendom of pure awareness, to transform ourselves. That doesn't mean we throw away the firewood. We don't throw away the logical log. That's the information we've in our first incarnation. The personality, in order to survive in the human world and the natural world, the limbic system, or the animal, and the human animal, the light mind animal. Hu means light, man means mind. Our brain acts like a, a light receptor in the two slit experiment, where you can see light acting like particles or acting like waves. I hope that's making sense. And we're
It
40
is.
minutes in now, or just under
Yeah.
40 minutes in. So I want to press on, but I just wanted to make sure this understanding of the movement from the magical to the logical is the formation of the persona mask. Humanity as a whole created a mask for itself that it defined itself by. This is the
Okay.
human ego, but the mass ego. And and what that ego did by becoming a mask, it separated itself from the field. It identified itself as something different from the field. But in fact, we are the field.
Ah.
We are the field, and the information is flowing through us. We've become
Wow.
so individuated. There's a universal soul, and above and that's in the field itself. It is the energetic field, the 0 point field itself. But individuating souls come off of that field because the single soul, it's spelled SOLE, SOL, and SOUL, three words
That's
meaning
right.
the same thing.
Oh,
Because the soul, SOL, is the sun. The soul, SOLE, means singular. And that's why we call the soles of our feet. We have two soles of our feet that stand and connect to the single soul through the mother. The earth is like our umbilical cord back to oneness. And this is the reason it's important to walk on the grass without your shoes on at some point, to dance on the earth without shoes, or at least
yeah,
wearing leather soles. The problem is we don't notice what we've done. We worship at the altar of trainers, of track shoes, of running
yes,
shoes,
yeah,
in
true.
in in the temple of consumerism, right? But what do all those have in common? They have rubber soles. And what do rubber soles do? Make the energy from the one bounce back.
Yeah,
If you want to not
yeah,
be electrocuted as an electrician, you wear Dr. Martens or boots with rubber soles. That keeps
that's right.
the energy from connecting with you. Well, it just
Yes,
like it keeps electricity from coming down and grounding into the earth, it keeps the earth that grounds you from coming into you,
yes, that's true. Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
this is important to recognize. Okay, so I just wanted to go over those a few scientific points. We may return to them later, but for now, I just want to push on as quickly as we can. The fourth element is air, and it's relating to the heart and the vibration or the sensation that relates to that ganglia of nerves, because all the chakras are placed along the spine at exactly the points where a ganglia, a group of nerves, comes off the spine. And those group of nerves actually connect to the organs that the ancient yogic knowledge say those chakras relate to, because those currents of subtle electricity that are going back and forth between the brain and the organs are a current, and they create a field around them, which
hmm,
is the chakra. And the chakra is a magnetic field, which
yeah,
then generates currents through it by this subtle energy and subtle field. They support each other. The field and the current support each other. They're interlocked. And the practice of yoga is to strengthen the fields so that the current becomes stronger and the current becomes one, that we lift the energy to ever more subtle vibrations, higher vibrations. So the idea of going up the spine is also going up in vibration, in frequency, faster
ah,
frequency, higher level of vibration. So the
mm,
fourth chakra relates to the heart center. It relates to transcending the lower chakra, the lower triangle of physical manifestation, the illusion of three dimensions. When we come into the heart chakra, we're actually working on pure vibration. We're connecting to the solar plexus, but drawing the energy up rather than down into survival, physical instinct for survival, and the illusion that the mind makes by what it sees. We're drawing it up, connecting to the intuition. We're beginning to be able to see beyond physical reality. We can see the things that the brain previously has filtered out because the limbic system, the animal brain, thinks we don't need that information. Is that making sense?
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing.
So we're then lifting that energy up. There's 12 petals to this chakra, 10 petals to the third chakra, 6 petals to the second chakra, because the second chakra is like a cube. The first
Mm.
chakra is like a tetrahedron. We're opening a flower up. We're
Okay.
opening and lifting the jack in the box. The jack is the soul, and the box is the state of consciousness of duality that we're trapped in. But we need that to continue making the vessels that we can play the game in. Is that making sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's all a game. It's all a game, like a jack in the box. You know, you wind it up,
Yeah.
you wind it up, you wind it up, you wind it up, just like you wind up a human being, and suddenly, pop, out pops the jack. You know, you've
Yeah.
you've you've done something to wind me up, and now my identity asserts itself. We were friendly for a while, but you said something that that threatened my identity. And when the
Okay.
identity is threatened, morality goes out the window because the identity is something we will kill for in order for
Yes.
us to survive. Is that making sense?
Yeah. It is.
So, this whole game of life and what this year of listening is about how to wind yourself up. You know, when you're confronted with a life threatening situation,
Yeah.
or an identity threatening situation, which then gives the illusion of a life threatening situation, we lose all sense of morality and we behave
Yes.
like an animal. And that's
Yes.
exactly the state we're in now. That's how a country or a corporation or any kind of entity that is a
Hmm.
collection of human beings asserts itself over the constituents that make it up. We forget, without us as the citizens, the country doesn't exist. But the
Yes.
government believes in itself so much that it thinks the people are there to serve the government, not the government serving the people. Or the
Yes.
corporation is there to control the employees rather than serving the employees and their
Yes.
customers. Right? So this is
Yeah.
important. This fourth chakra has 12 petals to it, which it has a center point, the 13th. This is like the Mole mantra.
Oh.
Ek Onkar, the creator creating creation. Sat Nam, that is your true identity. Karta Purak, you are not a individuated soul. You are a doing being. You are a fractal doing of a holographic being. You are a drop transforming through 3 states of consciousness: solid, liquid, vapor, back to liquid, back to vapor, to solid. You are moving through these states, but you are this living water, and the Christ consciousness is that living water flowing through. The awakening is when heat, you recognize the heat applied and you apply that heat yourself. When we're in a situation where the conversation gets heated, Yes,
Yes.
they even say it.
Yeah.
Conversation gets masculine consciousness knows there's a line you don't cross. Because
Yes.
when two men are talking, if they cross that line, the other one punches them, right? And then it's
Yes.
a conversation of fists, not a conversation of
That's right.
tongues.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, this is the difference. This is the difference with feminine consciousness. They don't have awareness of this line, particularly when they're dealing with men. So women will cross that line where if a man is talking to a woman, if a man crosses the line a woman often crosses, he would punch her, but he knows that's not allowed, at least in civil human beings. Right?
Yes.
Right. So, this same thing, this Mo mantra is getting us to the point of the 13th step. The 12th step, Ekonkar Satnam Kartapurik, I am a doing being. I want to, as a doing being, a Kal Mort. I don't, I'm not afraid of death because I know I don't die. A Kal Mort.
Yeah.
A, sorry. So Kartapurik, doing being, a Kal,
Yeah.
beyond, and
Yes.
Morit, death. I'm not afraid of anyone, but I don't want anybody to be afraid of me. I'm both fearless and undying. A Junie, I am the unborn seed. That is my true nature. I am the green king, the
Ah, it is
eternal
brilliant.
embryo.
The way you are explaining is simply brilliant. It is so interesting. So
Oh,
interesting.
good. I'm
Thank you
glad it's
so much.
useful. I know I'm trying to cut a lot of material in a short time, but it's important when we have 9 minutes left. So the the we're reaching the story of a Morit is this illusion of death. It's like the eight ball. What do they say when you're in trouble? Oh, he's beyond the eight ball, right? The shit's
Ah,
gonna hit the fan and it's headed straight towards me, right? But the death is the illusion. The death is the illusion. And when you find something worth dying for, right? This is my
mm,
identity. I would die for this. You also find something paradoxically worth living for. This is
mm.
the eight ball, the black with the white and then the eight inside it, is where the 0 point field twists and halves itself. This is the structure of the ether, the light bearing ether. It's what makes harmonic sound exist. This is
Mm.
overtone chanting. Can you hear those two tones? That there's a
Yes.
dancing kind of bell above and another vibration below. The sound below is called a tonic, and then just
Uh-huh.
changing the shape of one's mouth, you can get overtones, and they
Yeah.
have to do with harmonic nodal points. And this structure that shapes sound is the space between spaces. So the reason we talk about in heart year blending the beat of the heart with the rhythm of the earth is because music is based on the information of space.
Ah,
We have chaotic sound, we call that noise.
yeah.
Can you hear that tapping?
Yeah.
So if it's chaotic, it has no order to it. It's just noise. But if
Mm-hmm.
it's now it's a rhythm. But what defines the rhythm? The space between the noises, the space between the sounds. So rhythm is defined by space, by emptiness between the occupied spaces of noise or sound.
Okay.
The notes, the pitch is defined between the frequencies. So we have something called blue notes in music. That's why we talk about the blues, because they use a lot of blue notes. That's a lay where you slide between oh. Is that making sense?
Yes.
That you either
Uh,
do or you hear the ooh, ooh, oh, ah, e. Those five vowel sounds actually relate to the five chakras. They relate to the distance the chakras are apart from each other. They relate to the difference in frequency of different colors lights as well.
mm,
So these space in between, the space of the rhythm, this is on a horizontal level. This is like the mother, the ground of our experience. And then there's the space of light frequency moving up, 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 up. And we connect our beginnings to our endings. 5 years ago, Guru Nanak talked about it in the East. He traveled as far as Vienna, as far as I understand.
wow.
Isaac Newton was talking about we're going into the age of darkness. We're going into the darkness, and numbers will light the way. Well, we're now at that end of the 500-year journey, the end of Kali Yuga. Why? Because we've gone as far as we can go with the technology we're using now. We have to regain the technology that the body has only lying dormant. And this is in contemplation. Because when you look at a subatomic particle through an electron microscope, you have to look at it with light. That's how
Mm-hmm.
we use an electron microscope. But the smaller the particle gets when it moves from being an atom to a subatomic particle to being an electron or even a subatomic particle of that, the wavelength which we're looking at has to be smaller and smaller and smaller. And there is a point at which the wavelength is so small that it literally ignites the particle. And the particle
Wow.
becomes pure energy again, and we can't observe it. We've reached that threshold. We can only do it through numbers and through the consciousness of intuition, where we become light itself. Last thing, I might go just over if that's okay, but I'll try to keep it short. But I've timed it where I wanted to come to. The point of electrons, quantum leap. The electron shell or cloud is divided in where the first layer can hold two electrons. This is the primal distinction. It's like the brain going from the single brain stem where the sense of smell is, moving into the bifurcation of the brain into two hemispheres, one that pattern analysis, one pattern recognition. It's the same point. The two
Mm-hmm.
electrons are moving around in opposition, but each electron shell after that can hold only 8 electrons, from 1 to 8 electrons. When it hits the ninth electron, the last electron bumps up and goes into the next layer, but it doesn't, it's not it's a discrete movement. Since
Mm-hmm.
when we say discrete, it's not a fluid motion. The electron disappears for a, a tiny fraction of a second. It goes back to the field and reemerges in the next layer, next shell, as an electron in the next shell. So, this disappearing and reappearing is the nature of the quantum leap of transformation. And that is like the caterpillar entering the cocoon, becoming liquid,
Ah,
and then coming out as the butterfly. It's like the human being, the potential human being, which we are. We are human animals, but we're
mm-hmm.
building the light body. We have the possibility of giving birth to ourselves as the light body. This is what
Mm-hmm.
Jesus did when he became fully the Christ. We all have the potential to do this while here. Guru Nanak did this. All of the 10 gurus did this. They helped each other. Guru Nanak made the transformation. He then helped another human, potential human, become fully human. They followed this process as one being, displaying each of the 10 chakras, each of the 10 numerical stages of development from an individuating soul into an individuated soul that is paradoxically both the whole and the fractal, the holograph and the fractal, the ocean and the drop, to become, to return to the ocean as a drop, but remain
The
as
ocean.
the ocean. We can do that in human form by becoming the ocean, remembering. We're not learning anything, we're
Yeah,
remembering. We're bringing ourselves back together that we are an ocean in the drop. Is that making
yeah.
sense?
Yes.
Okay, so that's probably time to close. We're 3 minutes over. So the last thing is just process. What I'm inviting everyone who would like to take part is in the process of gross, gross detail, separating the process of creation into an elongated form that we can observe in close detail, like through an electron microscope. And when we've gone through that whole process, we can begin to recognize how we're doing that every second. We're creating the
Oh,
universe, folding it back, creating it, uncreating it, creating it, letting it go, creating it, letting it go, creating it, letting it go. What comes back is determined by what our information, our consciousness holds when we come back from that crystallus state, the Christ conscious crystal, crystalline, Christ, Christ. The Egyptians called it the Christ, no vowel sound,
uh-huh.
because it was without out vibration. The
Okay.
Christ, the Krishna, it's all the same knowledge. This state of non form, the nothing, the information we're holding in the brain, in the mind, the neural pathways that we're holding open determine how we come back. And we can remember control of that. That is our godly gift to remember that we are small gods, part of the one God. And we have
Amazing.
much more determination when we recognize we can willfully choose how we come back into the form. That's the quantum leap. Thank
Super,
you very
super
much for
awesome.
listening today. I do appreciate your patience and your indulgence. And I look
No,
forward
thank
to
you.
speaking to you next week.
Thank you for sacrificing your hours in the Sunday, and bless you. It was awesome. Really brilliant. We really appreciate it, and we love you.
Bless you. And that love is returned to you tenfold, every single one of you. I see you. I feel you. I hear you. I love you all. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Thank you so much
Bless
for your
you.
time.
Bless you. Good night. Good
Good
night or
night.
good day.
Yes. I